Dear Cecilia, in my dreams I kiss your cunt, your sweet wet cunt. In my thoughts I make love to you all day long. I grew up watching a lot of Nickelodeon, right? And would just go ahead and watch Nick at Night too. And there's this one episode of Dick Van Dyke I think of when I think of classic TV. Well, other than that one episode of Dick Van Dyke where the wife and the son are like aliens and they breathe water and they only eat walnuts or whatever. That weird ass fever dream episode. I don't know if it was a Halloween one or something, but whatever. But I remember there was an episode where Dick Van Dyke's wife, Laura, played by, the legend Mary Tyler Moore, thought she should dye her hair to be better looking for her husband, right? I guess get more attention from him. Well, she gets her hair dyed from brunette to blonde, and for her it looks so drastic that she's so scared to show her husband, and the whole episode is her just trying to find ways to fix it or to hide it by wearing a hat. And she's not wanting to show her husband. She thinks he won't like it. She thinks he's gonna hate her. I don't know. And at the end of the episode he sees it and he's like, "Oh honey, you're so silly, I love you no matter what your color is." And they hug or whatever, and then they go to sleep in separate beds, right? Yeah, I think back then they couldn't show any hints of couples being sexual together, so they had to have them sleeping in their own separate twin beds. Again, the world was very innocent back then, so cut them some slack. And now I bring into the same conversation an episode from the series The Mindy Project, right, which came out in 2012. I didn't really know much about that, the star of it, or the creator, Mindy Kaling, or whether other than she was from the show The Office, which, side note, I think it's super overrated, but whatever. Pretty sure I've ranted about that before. Anyways, I'm looking at a particular episode from the Mindy Project titled I Slipped, which has the main character Mindy and her boyfriend, who have been together, I guess, for a while now and having sex as couples do. Okay, so no big deal there. I mean, it's 2012, so showing some, parts of assuming that sex is okay is fine, right? Well, while I guess he's, pegging her from behind, and you don't see anything really, but you see the motions of it, Mindy lets out a sigh of discomfort, and her dude replies, "Oops, I slipped," essentially painting the picture to the audience that the guy had unintentionally inserted his penis into her asshole. And now the Mindy Show is officially the first show to have an anal sex scene on national TV. Throughout this whole episode, the dude is trying to deny that he did that on purpose, and he goes to great lengths to show that anally raping his girl was just a wacky misunderstanding, going to the eye doctor to prove he couldn't see the right hole, and all the while Mindy is wondering if her feeling violated is the right way she should feel, or she's just not, hip enough to kinks to where maybe she's the problem because of how out of touch she might be. So how do we wrap up a sitcom like this with a good ending, you ask? Well, the dude admits that, yeah, he wanted to try something new and thought it wouldn't be that big a deal that it became. But he accepted that Mindy might not be into those types of new kinks and he would love her either way. And the episode ends with them trying out new kinks, and yeah, nobody learns anything. Okay, awesome. I feel like television sets this precedent for how acceptable the public is on certain things. Of course, you can go back to the printing press and how important it was with spreading the word of not only religion, but politics and news and shaping the way society thought. And, eventually television became the primary way us as a world consumed the news and entertainment. And it became just as, if not more important than print, because you didn't need, to be educated to consume this form of media. You just had to have eyes and ears. And you're ready to be indoctrinated with what agenda the boob tube had at any given moment. But those two television shows, those episodes really stick out to me in how drastically the entertainment industry has changed. And less about telling a good story and teaching a lesson and more about pushing the envelope and what acceptable to have a dialogue about and what is appropriate to speak out loud about. Of course, you had episodes of television speak up about the negatives of domestic abuse, racism, addiction problems. One I always remember is on Saved by the Bell when Jesse got addicted to caffeine pills. Oh, or the episode when Steve Urkel drank Spike Punch at a party and the dangers of alcohol, with youth. So yes, I'm all for media where we say the quiet part out loud to bring awareness to issues that need the light shined on their darkness. But if the sources we trust and depend on the media try less to teach us and influence us and more to shock us, is it really helping society, or is it actually just hurting us? And of course, now the internet has become the norm and surpassed practically all of society's ways that they get their news. They culture themselves in what is current. We had when radio killed the writer, and then we had when video killed the radio. And now the internet is resurrecting all three of those as if they were burying them at the old pet cemetery, evil, soulless versions of themselves that we want to trust and love, just as our parents did, and their parents did, and all the generations before that. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot, hoes all on me. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot, hoes all on me. Dude, I remember driving back and forth, right, to visit my cousin out of town years ago, right? And the drive was a solid 45 minutes. I would speed like a motherfucker down the highway in my blue Chevy, right? Little truck. I really loved it. Well, this one trip over there, I was speeding on the highway, going up a pretty rowdy slope there. And yeah, I'm not a car person at all, but I guess my head gasket exploded or something, which is apparently very bad. And yeah, my truck, dude, it got fucked up. It was just out of commission. So yeah, I'm living with my mom at the time. I tell her, hey, can you find someone to fix it, please? And for the cheap, because I don't have any money and I need my ride, not only to go see my cousin, but to fucking work and, live. So my mom tells me she finds some dude on Craigslist that'll do it for, I don't know, $1,100 or something. Which again, I don't know anything about vehicles, so I don't know if that's a lot or it's cheap for what's going on. So yeah, I get the $1,100, give it to her, and she gets my truck towed and says she's going to get it fixed. Well, a couple weeks passed by, and my mother hadn't given me any update on the truck. And keep in mind, I'm living with my mom, so it's like, okay, why wouldn't you just keep me updated with it, So I finally ask her, hey, what's going on with the truck? Did the guy fix it? And she tells me, oh, I sold him your truck. And I'm like, what? And she says, yeah, I had to pay a bill, so I sold your truck. And I'm just like quiet for a bit, like trying to figure out what you just sold my truck without, okay. And I say, okay, well, could I at least get that $1,100 back that I gave you to fix it? And she just says, I don't have it. And that was it. That was the end of the discussion. And I think that was the point that really set me over the edge with my mom. Like, yeah, she kind of screwed me before, but then before that, kind of little here, little there. But man, she scammed me there like some fucking Saudi prince on an email trying to get my social for his fortune that he's ready to send me, Anyways, yeah, I think this is where I don't have trust in women in general. Like, if you can't trust your own mother, how are you supposed to trust any woman ever again? It makes me remember when I worked at Wendy's, there was this like gangster Mexican dude. He's about my age, maybe a year younger. He would grill the burgers. His name was Anthony. And one day, when I was working with him, he asked me if I could stay the last couple hours of his shift. And I was like, yeah, sure, I could use the hours. And he thanked me. He was all, man, thanks, man. And he tells me, hey, I'm going to give you the most important piece of advice you'll ever hear. And I'm like, okay, what's that? And he's all bitches want to do is fuck. That was his advice. And of course, like me being young and naive, I shrugged it off. Like, okay, whatever. But as I grew older, that piece of advice was whispering in the back of my brain until it echoed itself all the way up to the front, right? It gave me the understanding that, man, my mother is just a woman that fucked my dad. And just like any other bitch, and all bitches want to do is fuck. Yeah, so that's it for today, guys. Oh boy, that was some wacky episode, huh? Make sure y'all like and subscribe and all that other really gay shit. And tip for today: always have tinfoil in your pocket in case you need to shield yourself from those 5G rays. Man, those things will sneak up on you really, really, really hard. And remember the late great Tupac, fuck bitches and get money. Yeah. Until the end of time. Stay safe, everyone. Bye. Take these broken wings. I need your hands to come and heal me once again, so I can fly till the end of time, till the end of time.